So just a little background. The end of 2011, I went to a small city in central Brazil and was living there for about 3 months. And I initially was given the opportunity to go and kind of share. I do a lot of paper art, and going there, I thought I was going to be using similar material as far as I did start with newspaper, my prior work. And through my observations and getting to know like the community better, I knew that I wanted to kind of connect to a material local to that area, something that was being discarded. So this was one of the first pictures I took, because I tend to do like sketches and photographs to start, and then from there kind of develop like more of my 3D like sculptures or relief sculptures. So I was waiting for the easiest form of transportation in Brazil is like the bus system. So I was taking one of the buses into the central part, and it's probably like 5 minutes from there. And this is a photograph of the bus line. So it's a continuous line that the bus goes back and forth and never leaves like the same pathway. So that's like the oil that's being left from the bus. And I noticed while I was looking at the oil, I was also noticing all these little tickets all over the ground. And so that was kind of what sparked all of these investigations with the material. So the only other piece I made while I was in Brazil was this piece, this wall relief. And while working on it, I also was I was taking a class with some college students from one of the schools there, and kind of sharing with them my explorations with material. And it was really interesting to see their reaction to me working with what they considered trash and what I considered like a treasure of some kind. So this piece is actually supposed to reference kind of like the grades, the decorative grades that you find within cities, or there they have a lot of very intricate floral designed grades. So initially that's what this piece was referencing. And recently I was working with some high school students in Columbus, and I was thinking about expanding this and making it larger, but unfortunately I'm running out of tickets. And the funny story is that since I started this project, the tickets are now disappearing and they're not using them anymore. So it's almost becoming like these are going to become nostalgic in some way, I think. And I say that mostly because my family, I come from a family of collectors and antique dealers, so I'm always seeing these things that people have memories and connections to. So one thing that like I see constantly within my work is this relation to like growing up around collecting and having this need to collect something. After this piece, let me see what else which direction I want to go. Over here, these also were shot, and the city it's called Goiânia. So as I mentioned, that line for the bus, this is a short clip of probably like 5 minutes from where I lived in the main bus terminal that I would visit, where I met like some of the workers that helped me collect the tickets. You know, I did a lot of collecting myself. I would go a few times a week, and even sometimes daily, depending on how much I could collect. And they, within the terminals, they just kind of dump all the tickets in a little garbage bag, and it just sits there until it's full, and then they just discard it completely. So I would try to go enough times that I could collect a bunch of it and take it with me. But like I said, I made friends with some of the people working there, and they just started collecting them and keeping them in their bags for me, and I just come and have a bunch of them. It's like a really nice gesture, relationship we kind of built. And as a gift, I started giving them some little collages I made with the material. So this is the terminal that I got a lot of my tickets from. So I'd say within There's probably, I'm trying to think how many stations in the hub of this terminal, but as you can see, like it's constantly going throughout the whole day. So thousands of people go within this one terminal in the city. And this is also, these are stills from another video I took, which was more right within the heart of the city. So also observations I was noticing about things that were being like sold on the street and things being collected. So this bottom photograph is like a guy collecting cardboard, which he probably takes to recycling, a recycling center, and is getting some form of income for it. And this is like a gaudy, I don't know, it's just like toys and little trinkets is what's kind of sold there. So from these, upon returning, I finished up these collages, and all these I just see as different like explorations with this material. And I tended before to do things a little bit more 3D, but these are more 2D, kind of using a lot of design and thinking about like designs within a city and like this exploration on the street, but also the exploration of the material. So, and this piece, I guess I should point out, this piece is kind of important because, as I mentioned, I was showing people from the community kind of what I was doing in Goiânia, and these pieces were photographed by a student at Goiânia. Her name is Elise Trivera, and I was telling her what I was doing, showing her the work I was making, and I asked her if she wanted to create some photographs in response using the material as well. So these are also another part of the bus ticket. And this piece is called Point of Contact, or Ponto de Contacto in Portuguese. And so this was her response, kind of creating a metaphor between the material and its initial contact with the earth, with the grass, with the ground. And the writing here, it says like, fold before you discard. It says fold before you discard, only the hour before you embark. So the ticket, it's the one part you have to like tear off and rip and kind of like discard before you put it in the machine. That's what these pieces are from the ticket. And then these are also little observations I was making about, I noticed how many tickets I go through and there was like no human contact written on the ticket other than the electronic number that is punched or like calculated. So I was looking through and trying to find tickets that had something beyond that, whether it be like some form of handwritten notes or like a lipstick impression or like a stamp, because a lot of these tickets are sold, you're commissioned to do it yourself. Like you buy the tickets and people on the street sell them, so some of the addresses are probably for people that advertise that they sell tickets. So I thought that was kind of an interesting observation I found when I was working with it. And then this piece is kind of the last thing that I worked on. And I think it's still like a work in progress, the idea, but I was trying to work kind of taking like this idea with a little forms that are more like three-dimensional, and then taking the collage, the 2D, and kind of mixing them. And so it's like a starting point for a bigger idea, but I think I need to unload this more work. But kind of mixing the two together to create a design of some kind. So.
Where do these black verbs come from?
Those are actually, they're blinds that I spray painted and like repurposed.
Are they
Kind
from
of
the city?
No, they're just from I bought them at a used or a thrift store and spray painted them. I thought about like using the actual tickets and spray painting them black, but I wasn't sure if I was gonna like like the points where the two tickets meet where I glue it. I wasn't sure if I was gonna like that, so I ended up doing it this way as an alternative. So that's probably like one of the only, that and the metal isn't from this same area. The metal is supposed to kind of reference like the metal or the metal interior of like a bus, and like within the terminals, how you see a lot of this material. So.
And is the design that you kind of created with all these materials, is it inspired by things from the city? I mean, where did you come up with like the medallions and the lines and the different heights? Where is that from?
Similar to like the other piece with the grades, it's kind of an extension of that. Like, but lines within streets. But like I said, I feel like it's a work in progress and it's not all there yet. It's for me. This is more like strictly. It was more like the material that I was trying to figure out. Because even through this, like since I hung it, watching how like these curved a lot, like it's making me realize, well, maybe this material isn't meant to curve or not meant to be straight. So now I need to figure out like if it's meant to curve, I need to change the idea somehow.
Do you feel like as a material it necessarily has to be these particular Brazilian bus tickets? Or would you be interested in working with like Metro cards from New York or like BART tickets in San Francisco? You know what I mean? Like
you're doing like
other forms of like, I don't know, similar things but using a different transit system.
Yeah, I think I could see myself doing that. I just think like typically the way I work is I kind of, depending on where I am, and like now that I'm kind of settled here, I think there'll probably be something that I connect with, some type of material here I connect with. But at the time, this is like within my location, within like the proxy of where I was living, I felt connected to this material, and that's like how it speaks to the work. But yeah, like I think it would be interesting to try with another transit system, like somewhere here. I think when I showed this to high school kids, they were talking about like DC, because DC has a lot of their tickets, or New York's another good example. I work with elementary and high school kids, so it's something I'm also trying to like address within my work. Somehow, like that connection I have with students, and seeing if there's a way to push myself to maybe like somehow have them involved in my work. I'd be interested in trying that, and that's kind of what I was trying with this piece, though, because I had a lot more I was going to add, and we kind of, I think it's also another like idea I'm exploring. But I had them participate and build some of the pieces with me to kind of have the experience. So.
Do you think that experience of touching the material is one that you would like to transfer? Like, that if someone came to the gallery, would you be interested in them being able to like, I don't know, maybe that's too like kids museum-y or some shit, but like being able to touch it and right?
Yeah, I like within the gallery with the show, or
yeah, because the way you talk about it, it sounds maybe like it's the experience of actually manipulating the tickets, right? Of like touching these tickets, jillions of tickets.
Yeah.
Is that something that you'd be interested in having other people participating beyond like sort of a select group of students?
I think so. Yeah, it's a good idea. I haven't really explored that yet, but I did when I was in Brazil before I left. I installed this piece, and I had some women from the university come, and they worked with me and kind of did their own exploration, and I had material out. We did mostly like 2D collage stuff, and I have some of that on my blog, but I don't have, it's not in this show right now. So. But, anything else?
How much does it cost to ride the bus?
How much does it cost to ride the bus?
US dollars.
Like 75 cents. 75 cents one way. Yeah.
And
So.
is there a significance, like, The red ones versus the blue ones versus the green ones?
Yeah, it's a pretty, the red ones are from the specific metro bus that I talked about that like runs along the same line, and there are other buses that go beyond that and have other routes. So like the blue tickets and the green tickets, these, they have more credit on them, so they could be reused more than once and run through the machine, whereas the red one is like a one-time use ticket. So as you can tell, like I had a lot more red tickets than anything else. And a lot of blue. And after I did this piece and I had it on my Facebook or my blog or something, someone sent me a snapshot of like another color that they came out with. It was like, I think it was orange, but I don't know if it still exists. Like I said. So.
It seems to me that I hope you didn't address this one. That one of the more important or most interesting aspects of like these transfer tickets or bus tickets is that it's very specific to the time and place in Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I'm less interested in like, would you be using, transfer tickets here in Columbus, like focusing on the transit system, or is there some sort of like very specific or interesting sort of detritus that's on the street that is specific to Columbus or
Yeah.
neighborhood that you live in or something like that? And it's great, like the great part about sort of the video and some of these photos is that it seems like the tickets were this sort of entry point into doing some fun investigations about, transit.
Yeah.
But I guess I wonder what other entry points there would be. I just have a hard time thinking that Columbus bus tickets are like your best entry point into making work
Maybe you guys should
about.
help me out.
I have no idea right now. So I guess I was wondering if you saw anything or thought of anything specific that was specific
To Columbus, yeah.
Maybe that's hard to see because we're all American and we all like live here. Brazilian might see something different. When they
Yeah,
come.
that's true.
I think you could look at our bus tickets and be like, they don't care about poor people. These are poorly designed and they cost a lot. And the bus systems are going to go very far. So even if it's just like a bad thing, it's a piece of material culture that's a lot of social stakes. That's the last thing I would even ever be interested in if I was coming to Columbus.
Yeah.
I don't know what it would be though, because we don't really have that much public. We don't really have public material that connects a lot of the city. I think.
I don't know. It's further investigation.
I'll Facebook it like.
Yeah. I don't know.
You only really get, like, are these the tickets?
Don't they just rip off and you have to,
They'll give you a transfer sometimes. I
You
think.
can you get the only time you get a ticket is if you pay for a transfer.
yeah,
Or if you pay for it in advance.
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. And it's really a set of mouthpiece anyway. Regardless of where it comes.
The transfers that China and Portland was pretty good. Same with New
and I don't even know if I need, like, if I want to stay within the realm of paper, if there's something else. I mean, maybe I'll explore that. I just haven't explored, or I guess I need to do more exploring here to determine what that will be.
White Castle boxes.